start running CS because we know we gotta flood the house to get the guy out and eventually we gotta make entry. So the narrow vision, nobody ever trains like this, so I wanted to demonstrate that nothing really changes, but considerations. One, this is an added layer of protection for any secondary shrapnel, which is definitely the case for ballistic breaching. So now I've got something that's a little more heavy duty than a pair of thin glasses that we're all used to wearing on the range. So that, and knowing that I need to make entry after I've breached the door, where there could be potential CS gas or any kind of chemicals, I got done my PPE, and we're going to still demonstrate this. We're going to demonstrate 3 rounds that Royal Arms makes. The first 2 is going to be a flashbang, so I'm going to shoot 2 different pieces of wood. The flashbang is simply flash powder. There's no projectile. These are very popular on the East Coast where they're kind of anti-projectile because they can't wrap their head around a frangible breaching round. The next 2 are our most popular. The green is going to be kind of your all-inclusive. This will do most of your residential doors. Probably 85% of what you would encounter as patrol or SWAT. The blue is our heavy duty. They're meant for security doors, outer like a warehouse door, hospital door, school doors, things, something with heavy duty locks, and galvanized steel type. So first thing I'm going to do for you guys is we're going to shoot the wood. The steel plate is going to represent somebody on the other side of the door. You'll see shrapnel from the wood hit it, but you shouldn't hear it ping until we get to the blue. Because again, the wood should make the round dissolve or turn to dust. Any questions before I start? Alright, let's go live, eyes and ears. First piece of wood is just a 2-inch piece of wood, standard, which would be like the inside diameter of a frame. I'm going to start with just a flashbang round. Hold, no projectile. Next round is going to be my wood round. You'll see the powder residue from it turning to dust. This is going to be my heavy duty round. Now, if you notice, like I told you, there's a much more significant tone to that. That's because the round itself remained intact, penetrated the wood, impacted the steel. The steel was dense enough to get it to turn to metal. Okay? You guys want to come down and examine the holes? So if you look here, this is going to be flashbang or green, and then you can see the difference in the blue. If you look on here, you'll see the powdered metal.
It's actually took a lot of backside.
Look on the backside of the flashbang compared to everything else.
Oh yeah.
Chad, let me get your knife. So I'll send that back there for you guys to examine. The next one we're going to do is the same thing, except if you want to take that, you will examine it. Now we're going to do it on a 4x4. If everyone will step back, I'll re-demonstrate. You guys can be right here this way. So it's going to be the same array, except now we have twice the density of wood, which would really represent a door frame, okay? So, flashbang, no projectile. That blew a chunk out. Green. heavy duty blue for the last round. Clear?
Yep.
So, I went a little low in the flashbang, but if I had been a little more vertical to blown out the back, this is going to be our green, and then our blue, which you saw still penetrated with integrity on the mask, or I'm sorry, on the projectile, and then dissolved. That's all the powder. If you look on the ground, there's no projectile, no chunks. One of the points we like to make is the little goes a long way. You could do a vast majority with just a flashbang round. Any questions at all? All right, we'll move back and we can have further discussion. What we find with the training with ballistic breaching is a lot of people, there's so many different people to choose from. We're not going to knock the other rounds. What we will say is be cognizant of the fact that they only offer minimum weights, right? Most of those will cover a variety of things you would encounter. When you start getting into the more specialized stuff, that's where the difference is. Yes, with the exception of the flashbang rounds, which had no projectile, the other two rounds are franged. What I wanted to demonstrate was when you saw the heavy-duty blue round, right? It was obvious that it penetrated both the 4x4 and the 2-inch piece of wood while still maintaining integrity, and it took the steel to stop it and turn to dust, right? Those are the mistakes people make where they're like, oh, I only want to go heavy because that's the catch-all. There is no catch-all. There's a science behind this. This is 34 years of us making breaching rounds, listening to feedback from people all over the world. Everybody has some sort of specialized material that they need to defeat. Most of our rounds will go through a variety. This is just wood. The purpose of demonstrating the blue is to show that if you have a mishap and you don't do proper training and you have these type of rounds, that mistake is lethal. Everybody could see that. When that round impacted the steel, you heard an actual projectile hitting it and moving that steel with energy and force. So while they are frangible, it requires an equal metal of density to get it to go to powder. So there's a variety for a reason. If I'm going to breach an exterior hard metal door, most of the rounds that are in circulation aren't going to do that. And if anybody has experience and training, they've encountered that. I've gone to hit a hinge. I've gone to hit some sort of galvanized steel pipe, and nothing happens. So the instinct for a lot of departments has been, we're just abandoning, ballistic breaching, and we're going to go to explosive, which isn't always practical depending on, even if you get the training, is the city going to approve it? What other considerations, respiratory masks, things of that nature. This is the quickest, simplest way to get in probably 99% of the stuff you will encounter, whether it be residential, industrial, all of that. You can do it with ballistic breaching. You just have to take into consideration what material do I need to breach and carry a variety of rounds. There is no such thing as the one-all, do-all breaching round, and that's 34 years of experience in manufacturing rounds. And again, you guys can now see the 4x4, right? There was still plenty of integrity. I wish I had high-speed video to show you. That round absolutely is intact going through that 4x4, going into that piece of steel. And you heard the difference in energy going through it when it hit the steel. It's very much giving you a ring, letting you know that something impacted it. There are other rounds that we make that are outside of the breaching rounds. Our HP cutters. This is a heavy-duty metal. It's not frangible. We initially invented these to cut through rebar at a special request of the department. We've sold them in a few other places and gotten feedback to the other ways they could be used. We currently sell these to some military units that use them for vehicle interdiction and various ways of using that. One of the ways is anything 2013 or newer. If you shoot into, it would be the right side of the car, you're looking at it left side. That's where generically your airbox is. You hit it with one of these, it tricks out the computer, makes it think the air-fuel ratio is bad, car comes to a complete stop. Simplicity, shoot it through the radiator into the engine block, it will bleed it of the oil, 3 to 5 minutes of it bleeding the oil, the engine will seize, it will come to the stop. The military units are using it from a helicopter, shooting into the transmission, doing the same thing, bringing the car to a stop safely. Houston PD uses this to stop a tractor trailer. We have some different military units using it for level 4 plates from people that are fighting pirates overseas in like Somalia and things of that nature. So that's some of the other rounds that we make. We have some different glass baking rounds. If you want to approach a vehicle, break the glass, the flashbang rounds to do it. We have some more specialized stuff. We also do frangible buck and things of that nature. So variety of rounds for doing different things. Our frangible buck can also be used for breaching and lethality at the same time. That's a pretty good venable load. If you want to keep the entire shotgun loaded with frangible butt, you'll be able to breach most wood core doors, things that your standard residential doors that you encounter, trailers, you know, most doors that anybody lives in, that would breach, and then you still have a lethality buckshot round as well to follow up after that. Anybody have any questions?
Do those rounds work without the muzzle device, or is that a mandatory?
So you can shoot these rounds without a muzzle device, but out of everything that we manufacture, that standoff device is really the magic. You could shoot, I don't advocate for this, but I know that it works. You could literally use birdshot to breach, and people have seen that. Depending on the brand of shotgun that you use, will determine the material in the barrel. Remingtons are obviously hammer forged. That's the strongest barrel you could buy. There are some other brands, I will not name names, but that do not use the same material. The standoff device provides you a really good gap, which is exactly what you need for it to disperse all of the over gases and put all the energy of the projectile into the door. If you don't have that and you shove that up against the door, you need to have standoff. That just makes it easy so that you run up, you don't have to think about standing back from the door and an accident happening. And I don't know if anybody's ever done this with birdshot, but we've all been there, myself included, and it's not fun. It's an eventual accident, I promise you. Any other questions? Well, that concludes the breaching. If you guys are interested in any of this stuff, reach out to Mike Walker, Chad West of the OfficerStore, and they'll get you guys squared away on pricing. If you guys want T&E demo samples, and better than that, through Royal Arms, we also offer training classes with regards to an end-user operator course and a train-the-trainer class if you guys are interested.
We also offer those 870s that he's using right there. These guys, you can take your old 870s and send them to Royal Arms. These guys will put their proprietary barrels with those breacher brakes on them.
Yep.
And so you guys can get your 870s upgraded to those dual-purpose 870s that'll still fit in your vehicle racks, even with the modifications that they put on there.